somebody on Twitter report that the powdery substance supposedly was creatine.
Yeah,
So
that's
let's just wait and see what happens.
well talk about this Johnson. I mean, how vital is this player? What is he?
He played a lot last year, Jason.
So you don't want to lose him, QB, right?
Well, they won't lose him if anything, it'd be a slap on the wrist, run some stadiums, suspend him for Long Island, and then have him ready to roll, is my guess. But it's really Billy's first issue he's had since he's been the head coach here off the field.
Yeah.
And again, let's let it all play out and see what happens.
I'm all for it.
You're all for it. All right. So we had a lot of people who thought you overslept here on YouTube because it wasn't working. I think it's working now. But JC, I saw this. I screenshot this because I wanted to bring this up yesterday. I saw it on Twitter. Jaden Fielder. Are you listening to me?
Yeah, Jaden Fielder.
Who is the son of Prince Fielder.
That's right.
Who's the son of Cecil Fielder.
Cecil, yeah.
Hit a home run in his first professional at bat yesterday.
Yeah.
Basically, it was like, want to feel old? That makes you feel old.
That does make you feel old when grandson hits I was watching Cecil Fielder a lot growing up. I mean, dude, I hear you. It's quite a lineage he's got. I heard he had some issues too with his son.
Well, I don't know. I know nothing. I just thought that was interesting. So I brought it up on the podcast. How about that?
Well, thank God. I mean, that is something I'm going to take to the gym with me this morning. Trying to remember how old I am.
Yeah. Conyer Ron on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. And there's something to this. He said, back in our championship seasons, we had a lot of off-the-field issues. Maybe we will have a championship team now.
That is true. Well, no, I don't want off-the-field issues. I hate distractions. The point of Urban's teams was just that the massive amount of talent that he accumulated on these teams, when you look back at it, there was some off-field stuff. And these guys were involved in that. Aaron Hernandez, Percy Harvin had some issues. Aaron Hernandez was the biggest one, obviously. Mm-hmm. And we don't even probably know, I don't know, a percentage of what also happened that wasn't reported, that was kept in-house and so forth. We don't know what the locker room was like with these guys. But these were some of the greatest players that ever put foot on the field and ended up in the NFL, and some of the greatest you'll ever see at University of Florida. And it was all led by a guy who is, the Pope, literally, in Tim Tebow. It was incredible what kind of diverse team they had in those days under Urban Meyer. I don't know if we'll see that kind of accumulation of talent ever again on one team here. Now, maybe will, but it's just amazing what Florida accumulated back in those days. And it's also amazing to me that was 17 years ago when we talk about Urban Meyer in 2008. 17 freaking years ago. Dude, you were 38, 37. Man, were you? Yeah, 30. Oh, God, I was 43. Oh, it's staggering to me.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I got a lot of people asking about the arrest. Why did they stop him for running? I don't know anything about it, people. Honestly, I don't. I'm just going to let it play out. There's no reason to even discuss it. See what happens.
Well, just stay on Twitter and just.
Well, can't believe everything you read on Twitter at times, JC.
No, I know. But that's where I first saw it, and obviously it happened, and I do get a lot of news off that X platform. Because I just can't trust when I'm turning on that television half the time. I can't trust when I'm looking at this either. I mean, what can we trust? I'll tell you what I can trust. I can trust that the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets are going to play tonight in Winnipeg, and Dallas Stars getting 2 starters back on their lineup after beating Colorado in 7 games. I can also trust that Delta should get me to Denver safely. And I will also trust that I'm going to watch the San Diego Padres as one of the better teams in the National League on Friday, and I'll have a full report for you on Monday after that game.
You're going to San Diego?
I'm going to Denver to watch the Padres play the Rockies. Yeah.
At Coors Field? That sounds terrible.
Well, I'm being paid to go to Denver for a business investment conference. And, I mean, get on the plane and let's roll, baby.
Andy says on Facebook Live, Roger Clemens' son did the same thing. I don't know what he did, but we're talking about the grandson. That's what made us feel old.
Yeah,
When
that
Cecil's
is what
grandson is hitting home
Cecil.
runs.
You call him Cecil. Didn't he call himself Cecil?
I don't give a damn. He's Cecil to me. I mean, what's he gonna do?
Cecil.
You think he's listening to the podcast today in
Yeah, he
Detroit or
might
wherever?
be, by
Where do you
God.
think he lives? In Detroit?
I know this. He's had a falling out with his kid.
Which kid?
The
Prince?
son,
Oh,
Prince. Yeah,
Prince.
yeah. I don't know why exactly, but that did get reported once. I am trying to find this thing about Johnson. You make me not want to care about it though. Anyway, Todd Golden at $6.75 million QB is the fourth highest paid college. Okay, give me the three coaches paid a little bit more than Todd Golden. If he is the fourth, who would be the three in front of him? Just give me one of the three.
You talking about in the conference?
No, in college basketball, period. He is the fourth.
Oh, Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley is $7.75 million. There are two above him.
It's probably Bill Self.
Bill Self is number one at 8.8, and right behind him is John Calipari at 8. But Golden is fourth, right in front of Izzo, who is 6.2. Mick Cronin at UCLA, which is 6.1, but he coaches at UCLA, so he really makes about 2. Bruce Pearl, $6 million. Rick Barnes, 5.8. Scott Drew, 5.4. And Tommy Lloyd at 5.25 million. Those are your 10 highest paid college basketball coaches currently. And the 6-year contract is worth $40.5 million. He is now a top 5 highest paid coach in college basketball. Let's hear it for the University of Florida stepping up with some money and saying, you know what? It matters more here, too. It matters more.
It just means more, JC.
Huh? It
just
more.
Means more.
Yeah. And don't do it this way, right, QB? This is
right over left, JC. Right over
very bad. You must go like this.
Even if you're left-handed, you got to flip it. Nora says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. When was the last time you talked to Eric Rett? Shane ever thought about bringing him on? I think people forget how long this show's been going on. Eric Rett has been on this show multiple times. I always like to say this because I know how hard it is to get guests on here, especially athletes, because they have a lot going on, whether they're retired or whatever, and they forget a lot, and then you're stuck.
They forget.
Just know how they operate, people. But I talk to Eric a couple times a year.
Yeah.
We'll may get him back on. But again, I could tell you Eric's coming on Friday, and we could sit here and y'all just look at me on Friday. He may not show up. Brandon says, QB Kerwin came down to Perry last night, spoke at the FCA banquet, told some great stories, had a good time. Yeah, I saw Kerwin last weekend. I had to do the MC speaking portion at the first ever Trinity Catholic Hall of Fame banquet.
Oh.
Kerwin was there, and Kerwin can talk now. If there's anybody that can sit there and tell stories,
yeah,
Kerwin.
Yeah, he's not shy. We have a trade going on in the NFL, QB. Do you care about this?
What do we got?
The Steelers trading George Pickens, who's in the final year of his rookie contract. Hard to believe. How long is his rookie contract?
I don't know if it's worse. Where's he getting traded to?
He's going to Dallas.
I don't know if it's worse being a Steeler in today's world or being a Cowboy in today's world.
Well, I tell you, what they have for the Cowboy players in Dallas, I mean, the owner does a good job of that, but on Sundays, it's a miserable experience with the way they play. But Pittsburgh gets a 3rd and 7th round pick. I don't think there's any doubt Pittsburgh's going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They're just figuring out, I guess, details. They've got DK Metcalf, and they're going to get Dallas's 3rd round pick next year. So George Pickens on the opposite side of CD Lamb and some others. Maybe that helps Dak Prescott. I don't know. George Pickens is kind of a quirky guy. Sometimes you think he's playing hard. Sometimes you look at him and he doesn't look like he's playing hard. This is who Dallas wants. They're just trying to improve that roster, which they desperately have to do to avoid having one of the worst seasons they've had in years. So,
yeah. QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief, no surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule a free consultation at QC Kinetics. A few more minutes with JC, then we'll have Kyle Crooks live from Athens, Georgia at the SEC softball tournament. JC, let's get to our Peachland Dental.
Okay.
Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. It's time for the Peachland Dental picks. And we are at the Truist, which is somewhere in Philly.
It's in Pennsylvania at a place called Withacosset or something like that. and it's a Wissachickon course in Pennsylvania. You've got a smaller field in this one. Some big names, obviously, those. We get ready for next week's PGA Championship. This is a tune-up. I tell you, QB, this course is going to be destroyed. It is 7,000 yards. They're going to play it just under 7,100 yards, which makes it very short. This is a wedge course. This is where wedges and putting will come into play. My pick is if you want to go on Hard Rock and make some money, I am giving you the money maker right here based on putting and wedge play. So am I picking first or you?
Go ahead. I don't care.
You don't care. QB doesn't care. This is the day that QB just kind of lets it roll. It's the middle of the week. He's trying to figure out how he's going to get through Friday, and he's glad it's not Monday. I understand.
So true.
Sam Burns has gained 8 strokes putting, and he's gained 6 or 7 strokes
Get it
putting.
out.
He's gained 8 strokes putting in 3 of his last 4 events, and in 6 of his last 7 events. He is 50-1 to win. He is plus 360 in the top 10. He is ranked inside the top 20 with his wedge play from 100 to 120 yards. He is first in putting from 10 to 15 feet and 4th in putting from 5 to 10 feet. You go ahead and you get Sam Burns and you ladder him top 10, top 5, and winner.
Okay. I'm not gonna give a bunch of stats and all that crap.
Well, that's not crap. That gives you reasons to pick them.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people that can putt and have great wedge play on the PGA Tour.
I'm giving you stats.
I will say you took an LSU Tiger. I'm taking a Georgia Bulldog. I'll take Russell Henley.
No, that was going to be one of my other picks because wedge play.
Because he's a great putter and he's a great wedge player. And he hits it straight. That's pretty good. Pretty good deal.
And listen, they're all good putters and wedge players.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm looking for guys ranked within that goodness. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Glad I could get that cleared. All right, let me just go ahead and with this course being very short planned, I love Min-Woo Lee. I think Min-Woo will just absolutely.
Min-Woo Lee, who has serious clubhead speed.
God, and he hits it so far. He's going to have short shots into the greens. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, we're going to sit here and talk about a guy who can putt and pitch and do all that. Give me the boring ass Patrick Cantlay.
Boy, is he boring. You would have thought he's won more with the way his short game is.
Yeah.
I'm going to take another guy who is outstanding with wedges, one of the best on tour, but has not really played great, but is still seemingly one of the people love to take top 10 and top 20 and top 5, and that's Sepp Straka.
All right, another Georgia Bulldog.
They're everywhere, those damn Bulldogs.
I know. I'm going to take Hideki Matsuyama.
Okay, yeah, he's pretty good. And I want to finish it off with, he's pretty good, Hideki. I'm going to finish it off with Kyle Morikawa. I love his irons, and I think irons are what we have at a premium on this course in Philly or wherever the hell.
Obviously, Scotty Scheffler's not playing in this, is he?
No, I mean I think after shooting 57,
you're not taking Rory McIlroy, Jason?
I'll probably take him next week. I think he's had some time off. He's going to work off the rust a little bit. And I think he's just tuning up, QB. He does.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take the young gun, Ludwig Åberg.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a tournament that gets you warmed up or primed up, I should say, for this PGA event next week at Quail Hollow. Now, Rory eats up Quail Hollow. He destroys that course. But again, this course is going to be putting a premium on wedges.
I wonder how wet it's going to be.
And putting. I don't know what the weather in Philadelphia has been. I
feel like it's been pouring down rain up that way.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so to recap the Peachland Dental pick for the Truist, JC has Sam Burns, Min-Woo Lee, Sepp Straka, and Colin Morikawa.
I do.
I have Russell Henley, Patrick Cantlay, Hideki Matsuyama, and Ludwig Åberg. So there you go.
Right again, there. Sam Burns 50-1 to win. That's great odds. And plus 360, which is 3.6 times your wager to finish in the top 10. I don't know how you don't walk away with some cash.
Well, if he doesn't make the cut, you're screwed.
Well, he played well.
He comes in 35th, you're screwed.
Well, I think he played pretty well last week. Of course, everybody did at pitch and putt over there in Dallas. My God. But big night tonight, man. Big night. Here are your Peachland Dental. Do I have time for this, QB? Or
Yeah.
you got to run.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right. Peachland Dental picks for tonight. Celtics bounce back big. Lay the points against the Knicks. Nuggets also cover against the Thunder. They got one game, but they're also getting 11 points. Jump on them. I think Denver has shown us why they have championship pedigree. I'm not sure what Oklahoma City's issue was other than the fact that they hadn't played in so long. That may have been why they were rusty, and they could win by 40 tonight, but not against Denver. Denver is a tried and true, past NBA championship team. Florida Panthers get it done tonight in Toronto. I think Toronto really was impressive with the way they scored quickly and often against the Panthers. Held on for a 5-4 lead. The problem with Toronto is their goalie, their starting goalie, is dealing with possible concussion issues. He got hit in the coconut a few times. Sam Bennett gave him an elbow in the crease. Don't think Sam Bennett's going to be suspended. So you take the Panthers tonight against Toronto's backup goalie. And then that Dallas Stars are getting Jason Robertson, and they're getting back Miro Heiskanen, their best defensive player. They're playing the Winnipeg Jets, who are without Mark Scheifele, who are without another player. And Hellebuck is as good as he is not going to be able to keep the Stars out of the net. I think Dallas wins tonight as a slight favorite at Winnipeg, and in the series take them at 6. And then we get ready for the conference finals.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. In 1877, JC.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Enquirer first uses the term bullpen to indicate baseball field foul territory where late coming spectators were herded like cattle.
Okay. That is unbelievable. Yeah, it's literally an encyclopedia we get here on this show.
Well, I mean, that's where the word bullpen came from.
Thank God, because I was talking about that this morning when I woke up out of bed. I said, Carmen, have you ever wondered what bullpen means in baseball? We were talking about that last night.
Why wouldn't you be?
Exactly. I can't wait to go to Coors Field. I'm going to sneak behind home plate. If you've got the Major League Baseball extra innings package on Cox Cable or a Fire Stick and you can pull the game up, I'll be there and I'll wave my hands for the cameras behind home plate at Coors Field on Friday. The Padres are a team I got to see them play. That's a team.
Are they the best team in baseball right now?
Well, that record-wise, they're tied with the Dodgers. That West Division in the National League is incredible. The National League right now, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, it's clearly got better teams than the American League currently right now. And so you got the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres literally all tied together. And the Diamondbacks are no slouch, all in the National League West Division. It's incredible. We had the Phillies last night beat Tampa Bay at the ballpark down there on Steinbrenner. The Phillies will be a resurgent team. That's a team that's going to challenge the Mets, I think, in that division. And don't count out the Atlanta Braves in the East. Then they get healthy. If Acuna ever wants to play baseball again, I think the Atlanta Braves will be a threat in that East. But you can't fall too far behind the Mets and the Phillies. I like that National League Eastern Division. And in the American League, you can flip a coin. I mean, you got a bunch of teams that are kind of just there. But in the National League, I really think there's some really good teams. The Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Phillies, Mets. These are quality teams.
All right, JC, real quick, briefly, we don't need any explanation, or give me your picks, your Peachland Dental picks for tonight again.
Okay.
You already forgot.
No. I've got the Stars and the Panthers in hockey. And in the basketball, I like Denver covering, and I like the Celtics to cover the 10.5 against New York. Boston's got to win game 2. I do have the Knicks at plus 2.5.
Every underdog has won the games.
That's right. I have
NBA,
the Knicks.
right?
I have the Knicks plus 2.5 games. Which means anything over 5, and I win the bet regardless of who wins the series. And I've already got one of those games. So the Knicks win one at home. I'll cash that ticket. But as far as just the game tonight, it's Boston, and I think Denver with a cover, which means I think OKC will probably win. But we talk about spreads now, okay? Anybody can pick winners. That's like everybody on ESPN saying, well, I really like Alabama to beat Mercer. Give me the Tide. Yeah! I really like Georgia over Vanderbilt. Give me the Bulldogs. Yeah! These are great picks, man. But no, you got to start doing numbers. If you can't pick against numbers, don't bother me with all your BS. I don't care.
All right, briefly, I want you to answer this, JC, since you're into this kind of stuff. Your Ron asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Do Rays fans prefer Steinbrenner Field over the Trop?
Yeah, 100%, because it's in Tampa. You don't have to get on 275 and spend 2 hours driving to go watch the Wednesday night showdown with the White Sox. Yeah, and not to mention, it's a more intimate setting at Steinbrenner Field. There's not as many tickets available, but Rays fans don't care about that because they only put 10, 11, 12, 15,000 in the Trop. It's an awful setting. And, it's not baseball's fault that there are 2 minor league stadiums being used right now for baseball games. There's also one in Sacramento where the A's play because they're going to move to Las Vegas in that beautiful new ballpark in Las Vegas. It's not Major League Baseball's fault that a hurricane decided to remove the roof at the Trop. It's Tampa Bay's fault for not having a suitable field. That's a great organization. In terms of scouting and talent-wise, the Rays are unbelievably good at it because of how competitive they are, and they play in front of nobody. But they always have a packed house at Steinbrenner Field. It is right there in Hillsborough County on Dale Mabry. It is perfect for Tampa, but they need more capacity. If they had more capacity in Tampa, they would have more fans. Correct. The Rays are fantastic, but I think it's Steinbrenner Field.
Okay, real quick, this question from Clint on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. JC, for the PGA Championship, pick 2 of these: Rory Scotty Bryson, or Rory Oberg.
Rory Scotty. Yeah. I mean, Quail Hollow. That course. You know what it is. It's a great course. It emphasizes accuracy. That's where Scotty Scheffler comes in, and length. That's where both he and
Rory wait till you see. I saw. We got to get to Kyle Crooks here, but I saw on Twitter the links of the par 3s and the par 5s at Oakmont for the U.S. Open. Oh my goodness! There's a couple par 3s like 289 yards, and they'll be hitting like 5 irons. All right, JC.
All right, man. I'll be reporting in from Denver on Friday morning at 6 a.m. That shows you my dedication to the program.
You got to be dedicated, or we'll find somebody else.
I'll be on Mountain Time. But I'll be ready for you if I don't drink too much Thursday night.
All right, that's JC joins us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by the voice of Lady Gator softball, Kyle Crooks, live from Athens, Georgia, where they first pitch is supposed to be at 5 o'clock. We'll see how that goes. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Mathews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. There are many car washes in Gainesville, but only one Gallo Car Wash, locally owned by UF alum, and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes, with locations on Northwest 13th Street and Southwest Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the voice of Florida Gator softball, Kyle Crooks. Good morning, Kyle. How you doing, bud?
Good morning. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm currently in Athens, Georgia. It's raining, which isn't a good sign. I was looking at the weather for the next 5 or so days, and it looks like a lot of rain. So I don't know. I could be here forever, Shane.
Yeah, the Gators are supposed to play Ole Miss at 5 o'clock, which that's probably not when it's going to start. There's probably going to be some rain delays, but it's the third game of the day. How do we match up with the Lady Rebels?
Yeah, so we played them in mid-April, won the first 2 games, almost run ruled them in the second game. I think it was about a 7 or 8 run, 7th inning, won 14-3, and then played a pretty close game on Sunday. There's one pitcher that they have that have given the Gators some issues, a lefty, Brianna Lopez. She pitched yesterday in a 1-0 win against Missouri. It's a Florida team that I think, though, Shane, regardless of who the opponent is playing really well right now. I think Florida's in a good spot. If anybody watched the games this past weekend, there's a good chance they could have swept Oklahoma based on how that series went. They had the walk-off run at third base in the one game they lost in the 7th inning. So regardless of who the opponent is, I think Florida's in a good spot right now. But Ole Miss is a lineup. They have some pop at the top of it. Lexi Brady has 15 home runs. She's their catcher. Are they as deep offensively as a Florida or some of the top end teams in the SEC? No. I don't know who we'll see though, Shane, in terms of the pitching staff, because they pitched that pitcher that I mentioned, Lopez, yesterday. They have a pretty good freshman who the Gators knocked up pretty good in April. So I'd be interested to see who they start. But it's a good Rebel team, but Florida matches up pretty well against them.
Yeah, let's go back to the Oklahoma series. I was there Thursday night. Probably should have won that game. We had a couple. I think it was Shoemaker had a couple of base running errors that really cost us, and then I remember Jossie Erickson. One of the Oklahoma girls stole, and Holtorf just missed the tag. And like 2 pitches later, base hit. Should have been out of the inning. But you've called a lot of games and this team under Tim Walton's been incredible for many, many years. But that had to be kind of fun, the 4-time defending national champs going down in a series. How was that to call?
Yeah, it was unique because, when I first started here, you never thought you'd have Oklahoma in a 3-game set at home. Now, obviously, Oklahoma and Texas are both in the SEC. It was, the crowds were different. It felt like a super regional, especially that last game. So that last game, Shane, they striped out the crowd. They had different color orange and blue shirts for each section. Like it just felt bigger. Oklahoma was the #1 team in the country at the time, 4-time defending champions. I don't think Oklahoma is the same team as what we saw in the semifinals last year, the World Series, but that's beside the point. At that point in time, they were the #1 team in the country. I just thought that, like, you go back to because Florida had the 3 games at LSU, right? They got run ruled on Monday night, and then they come back 3 days later and play a 3-game set against the #1 team in the country. It was a pretty down team after you just got run ruled 10-2 at LSU, and you come back, and the way that you bounce back after Thursday, you win 9-4, you hit 4 home runs, and then you come back Saturday and you have same amount of clutch plays and clutch swings. And how about Kendra Falby out in center field defensively? I mean, she made a handful of plays. You could just hand her the Gold Glove right now. the way that she's playing. And again, I just think it's a team clicking at the right time. And Oklahoma is a really darn good team, and to win 2 of 3 at home is pretty special.
Who's been the biggest surprise to you? Mine would be Mia Williams. Not that she doesn't have the talent, but the way she was at the plate last year compared to this year, it's been an incredible jump.
Yeah, I think Mia Williams is probably right up there. So she had 6 home runs all of last year, 17 or actually 19 home runs this year. So she's 3 off tying the Florida single season home run record. I don't think anybody saw that coming into the year. She's more than doubled up her hits in SEC play. She's had somewhat of a little bit of an up and down stretch here, but the reality is she still comes up with giant swings. I mean, she had such a big 2-run home run in the Oklahoma series. Just sort of looking down now to see some of the players that have popped to me, because there's so much in terms of expectation. You expected a good season out of Erickson. Shoemaker, I was told, was the best hitter in the preseason. I was told she was the best hitter on the team. So there's no surprise there. I think Reagan Walsh is sort of what we thought she would be. She's obviously somebody who produces at a high level. How about an Ava Brown, I guess? Outside of Mia Williams, I think Ava Brown of late has come on as somebody who is special and somebody that they need in the circle. Forget about in the lineup. I think the way that she's popped here of late in terms of those late inning situations as a pitcher, the way that she has developed, I think to me is one of the bigger surprises here late in the year, because they're going to need her in this tournament. They're going to need her in a super regional. They're going to need her at the World Series to get maybe the final 3 or so innings, because Keegan Rothrock isn't quite what she has been and what she was last year. Is she going to give you full 7-inning performances? I don't quite know, but I do know that Ava Brown is pretty comfortable in those big moments of getting outs in the 6th, in the 7th inning in high leverage spots.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the pitching because obviously that's crucial when it comes to women's college softball. And Rothrock is the ace. Missed a lot of time due to injury or what have you. And she's had some bright moments, and she had some moments where she's given up a ton of runs. Do you like what you have seen so far with her coming back? And as you said, this team's going to go as far as she goes, but you got to have Ava Brown and Red, the freshman pitcher. But Rothrock's she needs to get back to how she pitched last year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, now's a good time to do it. Last year I had the numbers here, Shane, from the SEC tournament that Rothrock pitched. If you remember last year, I mean, she pitched just about every postseason game, and she was the horse that they needed her to be. But she was in this tournament was 3-0, had just over a 2 ERA in 3 starts. I would expect her to start tonight, but she kicked it into this weird gear last year that the Gators need her to kick it into now again. The injury for her was an undisclosed deal, and she came back after a month off. And anything, whether you're a quarterback, a pitcher, a point guard, when you take a month off and you're only subjected to maybe doing some bullpens or some workouts here and there, it's just not quite the same as game situations. So she came back against Auburn after a month off, threw an okay 4 or so innings, and then pitched against Alabama. That one start against Alabama, Shane, whenever she would throw strikes, she'd get belted pretty hard. Multiple hit batters, walks. It almost felt like she had I don't know, the yips, the pitcher version of the yips. She just couldn't, all the normal parts of the operation just didn't seem normal for her. And they needed her to find a way in that series to click in, and she did. I think she threw about 6 2/3 the final game of that series against Alabama. And it clicked back in the right direction. Are we quite all the way there yet? I don't know. I don't know exactly if she's completely 100%. We know that she came into Florida with this thoracic outlet syndrome, which is a pretty tough condition to have. Your listeners can Google it, but she's had that for a long time. And I don't know if this injury was related to that or not, but the Oklahoma series, pitched okay, especially 6 innings in the first game of that series. They need her to be 7 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, no walks. I think the issue with me, Shane, with this staff as a whole, has been walks. They
Yeah.
drive you nuts. Hit batters. The Gators have the most hit batters of anybody in the conference. That's usually what you don't see in Tim Walton teams. Pitching and defense is the MO of his teams. But this time around, it's more of an offensive heavy team, and you hope the pitching comes around. I think it will. I think here's the difference between last year and this. There's more depth here. You mentioned Red. Caitlin Oxley's here. Kara Hammock, they started her in game 2 of the series. I gotta
That
be
was
honest
pretty
with you.
cool.
And Tim, I talked to Tim the next day. He said it wasn't like a senior night thing where they were throwing somebody a start here. And like they wanted to change it up. And she came in and gave them a really good 4 innings, gave up a home run that kind of made it closer and spoiled sort of that final line. But for her, that was okay. This is who we thought she could be coming out of the transfer portal. And then Olivia Miller, who's a lefty, the only lefty on the staff that I think can come in and get some outs. There's just more depth here than there was last year. So perhaps Keegan doesn't have to throw 95% of the postseason innings.
Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe. 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua, never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. A few more minutes with Kyle Crooks, the voice of Florida Gators softball. Tim kind of tinkered with his lineup the other night. What do you expect here in postseason play? What he's going to do?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he has Jocelyn Erickson at the 2. So she's been an on-base machine. The offensive numbers from a power standpoint and just an overall hit standpoint, average in the SEC for Jossie wasn't all that great, but she's walked a ton. And you want on base in that 2 hole behind Kendra Falby. I can tell you this, the one thing that will not change is Kendra Falby will lead off in the top or the bottom of the first inning, and she'll probably get on 2 or 3 times. It was sort of a down series against Oklahoma, whatever the case may be, from an offensive perspective, but defensively, she had multiple SportsCenter top 10 plays. And then behind her, you'll have Taylor Shoemaker at the 3, probably Reagan Walsh at the 4. You know that Kendra Falby and Jocelyn Erickson are going to get on base, and you have those 2 players right behind them that are playing at an elite level. You want to talk about the hottest hitter in the country, Shane? That's Reagan Walsh right now. She had coming off just an incredible series against Oklahoma. I think her last 10 games, she's hitting something absurd like 800 or something like that. She's 9 of her last 13. As I'm looking at it, hits in 9 of her last 10 games. Like she's the hottest hitter in this lineup right now. My thing is the key to Florida to make a postseason run, and what I mean, like this is an SEC tournament that is a gauntlet to win. You're going to have to throw everything to win this tournament. And if you lose, is it the worst case scenario? No, because this is a Florida team that's going to be a 1 through 3 probably national seed based on their RPI. Can you get a Kenley Cahalan to be a little bit more consistent? And Ava Brown's trending in the right direction. The Gators moved up Riley Holtorf, who's their shortstop, from 9 to 6, who I think that was a great move. And it puts a little bit less pressure on a Kenley Cahalan because she'll hit in the 9 spot now. And I think that's perfect for her. And then a Corbiotis, I think, is a key to a lot of it. Not a lot of lineups have an All-American like Corbiotis batting 5th in it. And that just shows how deep this Gator team is.
Yeah, no doubt. Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Kyle, do you think Kendra Falby has a shot to join Skylar Wallace in the new Athletes Unlimited softball league in the future?
I think she can certainly be drafted in it. She didn't get one of those 12 golden tickets, which was upsetting.
What does that mean? You're automatically in the league?
Yeah, so that means and they had the draft, Shane, a couple days ago. You're automatically drafted. So there was 12 of those golden tickets that they handed out. Some teams had 2, some teams just had 1, and they would surprise you at the end of the game. So for the Gators, it was Corbiotis, and it just so happened to be on the day that she walked off Alabama, which was a unique moment. Kendra Falby, I think she's going to play internationally with Team Canada. So she has that going for her. She'll play pro. And so like she has such a high profile right now with the defensive plays that she's making. Offensively, she's having one of the best years in Florida history. She's going to have probably, Shane, a first team All-American type season. She'll have her options to play pro. I hope for her that she'll eventually be an Athletes Unlimited. There's just not that many spots.
Right. All right. Before we get you out of here, this text on the Titan MR text line from Bob. Never really thought about this. He says, Kyle, can you tell us why the SEC softball tournament isn't double elimination like the men's baseball tournament?
Well, I think that's the most absurd thing, that the men's tournament is double elimination. I hate it because
Well, for baseball especially, because their games are so long. I could see maybe softball, but
yeah, and two, like pitching is so different in baseball that once you pitch, you get burned for the next day. Like the double elimination aspect to me of Hoover and the weather that they have to go through, it takes you always have games that are playing at 2 or 3 in the morning. I can tell you right now, with our weather delays that we're probably going to undergo today, that if this thing was double elimination, we'd be playing until next Thursday. Like these coaches, most of everybody except for Missouri, Shane, is going to be in the NCAA tournament. So they want to, like, if we're going to win, we want to go through this thing, win it all in one shot. We don't want the double elimination. We want to get ready for regionals. Like the most important part of the season is coming up next weekend, and that's the NCAA tournament. That's the chance to win a national championship. Like I can tell you this, Tim Walton, Mike White of Texas, Patty Gasso of Oklahoma, the last thing they want is a double elimination tournament.
right.
They want to get through this thing, win it all in one shot, and move on to regionals.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, good stuff as always. Hopefully the rain holds off. Let everybody know. I know sometimes when baseball's playing and softball's playing, it's kind of hard to get it on WRUF. Where are you going to be broadcasting? How can they listen?
Yeah, so today and hopefully tomorrow, we will be on WRUF. It's always on FloridaGators.com. Just like football or men's basketball or any sport that we do, it's on the Varsity app. So if you download the free Varsity app, every single broadcast that includes baseball that Florida does from an audio perspective is on the Varsity app, and it's free. Go download it, but it's also on FloridaGators.com. Just go to the schedule page, click listen. We'll be on WRUF just about every day except for Friday because of baseballs at Texas. So you can find us. We're out there. We hope that you can join us. Myself, Nevada Cohen will be on this trip with me right now. And hopefully it's like last year where we're there for a long time and win the whole thing. The next time the Gators win it, Shane, will be the 7th time. No team has won this event 7 times. So the Gators would have the record for SEC tournament championships if they were to win it this weekend.
Well, if you win it this year, good gracious, it's a gauntlet.
I'll tell you this,
probably
too.
harder than the NCAA tournament.
And the Gators will be the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. If they win this whole thing, maybe even get to a semifinal, they will be the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Who would have thought that when they were going through some of their struggles in the middle of the year? But their RPI is so good right now that they could be the #1 overall team in this entire thing. So,
Yeah. Good stuff, my friend.
All right, Shane.
We'll talk to you soon. That's Kyle Crooks. Join us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. Appreciate everybody joining in today. Have a great day. And if you're going to watch Gator softball, it's supposed to first pitch is at 5. I doubt that, but it's all on the SEC network. Have a great day, folks. Take care.